How nuclear fusion technology can defeat our inflation problem. Once and for all with limitless clean energy. We still have an inflation problem today, with 7.1% higher than November last year. It all started with the oil price. It made everything more expensive. First is transportation of goods and services. It costs more because that requires energy. Energy from burning gasoline or diesel in a combustion engine to move things or people around the world. The U.S. government just made $4 billion selling crude oil this year out of unprecedented releases from Strategic Petroleum Reserve. U.S. has a lot of oil and gas, but it has been underinvested for years because it's fossil fuels. It's not clean like the wind. What about nuclear fusion? That's recognized as carbon-free energy, right? Why won't they get on that? How does nuclear fusion work? Did we just have a breakthrough? How nuclear fusion can defeat our inflation problem once and for all. I will explain it all right after this. And of course, smash the like button. If you want to be my good boy, apply to write your first book with me. Welcome back to the Audacious Money Witch channel, where we talk about macroeconomy, stocks, bonds, and commodity markets. If you like any of these topics, you are intelligent. That's why you're here, and you know what to do. And push my button if you like what you see in today's video, because I can't push it from this side. This video is brought to you by my Patreon. If you are a good boy, go to patreon.com/magicalgoddesscheryl to add more meaning into your life. If you play your cards right and completely submit like my good boys do, then I will take you under my wing. Author of best-selling books, Goddess Cheryl. My good boys always get rewarded handsomely. You are such a good boy. You like hearing that, don't you? You want to get it into the bookstore. You want it to be real. You need to be my client, don't you? Why nuclear fission power is not popular. Nuclear power is a largely carbon-free energy source that could, in theory, help phase out fossil fuels. More than 300 nuclear plants currently provide 15% of the world's electricity. But this energy source has been plagued by a range of problems, most fundamentally high cost and the lack of public acceptance, that have halted development for more than 20 years in most of Europe and North America. Over the past decade, global nuclear capacity has expanded at a rate of less than 1% per year. It's more expensive than natural gas and wind power generators. And because of large capital requirements and large lead times, nuclear plants face a risk premium that other generators do not. Energy planners will also have to reckon with the scale and the pace of construction that would be needed to make a serious dent in the world's climate problem. MIT researchers estimate that 1,000 to 1,500 new reactors would be needed by 2050 for nuclear to play a meaningful role in reducing global emissions. A construction pace 20 times that of the past decade and 5 times the peak level in the 1980s. Many advocates of nuclear power argue that given the urgency of doing something about climate change quickly, it must be pursued. Speed, however, is not one of nuclear power's virtues. Planning, licensing, and constructing Even a single nuclear plant typically takes a decade or more. And plants frequently fail to meet completion deadlines. Rebuilding that capacity will take a decade or more. Your attention, please. This century's scheduled performance of the apocalypse has been postponed indefinitely. Ladies and gentlemen, your tickets will be refunded at the box office. On December 5th, 2022, scientists at the Lawrence Livermore Laboratories National Ignition Facility in California aimed 192 laser beams at a pinhead-sized target containing deuterium and tritium, and a fusion reaction succeeded in releasing more energy than the amount delivered by the lasers. But this achievement of inertial confinement fusion is not only the first time in history that nuclear fusion has worked under controlled conditions. In contrast to a thermonuclear bomb, those lasers also disintegrated the green energy fanatics' arguments in favor of dismantling the world's 90% plus fossil fuel-based 85 trillion economy. The global rise of nearly 3 degrees Celsius in temperatures by the end of the century thanks to mankind's scientific ingenuity. The same kind of scientific ingenuity that in latter decades has allowed oil companies to reach and extract more than 7 billion barrels of oil and 600 trillion cubic feet of natural gas in impossible to reach locations. Thanks to the engineering breakthrough of hydrofracking. The results have included millions of new jobs for Americans. The reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, lower energy prices, and then comes 2020, and you know what happened next. Nuclear fusion is the means of energy generation conducted within the sun. And for mankind's needs, it is a source of energy that is for all practical purposes infinite. Unlike the nuclear fission utilized in today's nuclear power plants. Fusion would not generate unstable nuclei that remain radioactive for millions of years and must thus be transported for permanent disposal to nuclear waste sites. Nor would fusion entail the risk of accidents releasing fatal amounts of radioactivity to populated areas. The danger of which from fission reactors the nuclear power industry has minimized in recent decades. Nor could a fusion apparatus be used to construct nuclear weapons. The breakthrough is exciting, but its practical use as an energy source may be decades away. What the experiment proved is that scientists can recreate the physical reactions in stars. But scaling the technology and making it commercially viable by most scientists' accounts will likely take another few decades. How fusion works and why it's a breakthrough. The Energy Department has announced the first gain in energy from fusion in a laboratory. The first time fusion reactions produce more energy than it took to induce them. Last week, 192 laser beams at the Lawrence Livermore Laboratories National Ignition Facility heated and compressed a capsule of hydrogen to previously unattainable temperatures and pressures, igniting fusion reactions that produce 50% more energy than the laser beams had delivered. Nuclear fusion breakthrough accelerates quests to unlock limitless energy source. Experiment yields net positive energy, a milestone in effort to develop nuclear fusion as a source of clean power. Researchers said that shortly after 1 a.m. last Monday, they fired the largest laser in the world into a tiny cylinder holding a diamond capsule containing hydrogen isotopes. For a brief moment, the laser delivered energy that exceeds the entire U.S. power grid. In an attempt to compress the capsule's fuel to reach densities, temperatures, and pressures that are higher than the center of the sun. In the moments after the shot, the researchers weren't sure what had happened. The shot goes off. It takes only a few billionths of a second, and so we need an exquisite suite of diagnostics to measure what happened, said Alex Zylstra. And as the data started to come in, we saw the first indications that we had produced more fusion energy than the laser input. The lasers at the National Ignition Facility are less than 1% efficient, according to Jonathan Davies, a senior scientist at the University of Rochester's Laboratory for Laser Energetics. The facility used hundreds of megajoules of electricity to produce the laser light needed to produce about 3 megajoules of fusion energy. The extreme temperatures and pressures, similar to those in the cores of stars and giant planets, and in exploding nuclear weapons, triggered a fusion reaction. The hydrogen atoms combined to form helium, releasing a tremendous amount of energy at the same time. The December 5th fusion reaction produced 3.15 megajoules of energy, a gain of about 1.5 times, 50% more energy than we had. If we can use this nuclear fusion technology to create unlimited clean energy like the sun, energy will be cheap. Food and transportation will be cheap. We can desalt the ocean water then because energy is cheap. You will still need to pay the rent, but inflation will be defeated forever. And this is my client Taddy Eazzy's book, Wicked Pussy Perfume. It is an erotic novel, such an awesome book. Order your copy for Christmas. And my clients David, Vine, and Jama, Ignite the Passion, Co-Create Your Dreams. Another amazing book. Order your copy for Christmas. And my book, Lightning and Thunder, Discover Who You Are. You are such a good boy for watching my video right till the end. Bye.